Hey guys, how you doing? This is Arne here, and I managed to source something which I was really longing for a long time, and it is not else but a folding canoe. Now, this is something my dad used to have, and these are really old pieces of kit, and I'm gonna show you what's the age of this piece of kit. Well, first of all, I have this piece, which I don't really know what it is, but sure enough, it shows a 1978 reg on it. This is a registration plate from the Thames Water Authority back in 1978. So that shows you one thing. Then you got some price lists from 1974, and also I've got a 1972 catalogue with the canoe, and the actual brochure which came with the canoe is from 1961. So that's not the end of the story, because the owner in 1982 was trying to actually source some parts for this canoe. I think he tried to replace the skin, and his letter from 1982 shows that he at the time thought that the canoe was made back in 1950. So there you have it. This is at least 60 years old, I can tell you that. There are a number of brochures and catalogs which came with it. They are very nice to look at, and what I want to talk about today is how to handle this if you actually buy one. Now, I'll try to show you the skin and how it actually looks like the inside. You see, it almost has like what I would call is like a backbone on the bottom, and it has some ribs going all about it, and it has some rib cages holding it together. Now, it looks something like this. I hope it's visible on the picture. Now, there are a fair few things to consider when you are buying one of these things. They are very old, they are very fragile, and they are very big. This is a two-seater Tyne, but I believe Felt Boat, Colibri and Pouch also manufactured these things, and I believe they must be the same sort of license because they are very similar. What we had back in the day with my dad, I think it wasn't a Tyne, it was probably a Felt Boat, but I do believe that they are the same because even the color scheme and the inside coating of the hull is completely the same. Now, first things first, dress. I'm dressed to this party dress because these things are treated on the bottom of the hull with tar. I don't know if that's original or not, but once you get tar on your skin and on your clothes, it only comes off with petrol. It is a very nasty material. It's probably used for waterproofing the hull. Again, I'm not sure if it's original or not, but your party dress will be thrown away if you are doing it in that. Now, it ain't gonna be like a detailed how to put this together because it is a very complex it has a very complex bone system inside, if you like it, which you can pull out, and then you're left with the skin, which I'm gonna show you just now. So this is your empty skin. It's totally empty, nothing in it, and that's how it should be if you want to fold it, because this is basically a folding boat. All these pieces of kit come out of it, okay, all that, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. And that's the backbone, I mean. That's folded up into 4 pieces. So Again, those are the brochures I received with it. So let's talk about it a little. Now, when you buy one of these, you don't want to buy it when it's completely disassembled. Reason being, it is probably designed to stay in one piece so that the skin is being stretched all the time and it doesn't sort of takes up a different shape. It can crease, it can crack, so I wouldn't actually recommend buying this in a state as it is now. You are gonna probably find something which has never been dismantled like I did, and then the owner doesn't know much about it. So I'm trying to give you the philosophy, rather a step-by-step thing, because it would be very lengthy. Again, if it's already dismantled into a million pieces, I do not recommend you to buy it unless there is a very, very detailed manual on how to put it together, which I don't have actually. So I don't know if they are available at all. Now, again, as I said, this piece, I have no idea what it is for. It wasn't actually in the boat. This is, I believe, the bow section of the boat. So as you can see, it does look like a skeleton, something like this. And this skeleton holds up the skin. Okay? Now it looks a lot more complex than it is. It goes something like this. Okay? Now you could probably take all these bits apart and take them off, which them I call the ribs. So these ribs probably come off, but as far as I see, they are not really designed to be taken off. As you can see, they have those things which I don't know the name of them in English, but this is probably designed to stay together like this. Okay? And then the next bit you're gonna have is the actual backbone of the whole thing. Now the backbone is now folded up this way, which is completely the opposite way how it lives in the boat. So you can fold these little things. Okay, now it goes like that, and it opens up to a very large piece of kit like that. As I said, the boat is 5 meters long. So there you have it, something like that. It's really difficult to work with. Now, let's fold it back. Alright. Now this piece is where the rib cage sits. Everything is numbered for you. This shows 0 and black. That's the front. So the front of the boat, the bow, is black, and then it goes to red at the rear. This is going to be very important when you assemble the ribs. Okay? So with the black and 0, I'll show you how the ribs go into it. Now this is very easy, because it just goes on that like this, and it has pins which you just push in. There you have it. It's all in one piece now. So this is gonna be the actual bow of your boat. Again, there are no tools needed for this whatsoever. The only screws you have, they are like wing nuts, and even the wing nuts don't have to come out. I'll show you how. And I'll show you what holds it together. Inside this, you have what I call the rib cages, these bits, and these live somewhere here. Okay, and they hold it like that. Now I'm gonna quickly put it together just for the show. Actually, I'd rather show you something. So this actually has bits like that, which will mean that when it's inside the boat, you are going to have to sort of so it's like pushed together like that. Okay, this lives right here, and you're just gonna have to sort of push this back, hold this apart, and push this back to the front. So imagine to my left is the front of the boat. So again, you pull it out towards yourself, this rib cage, push this away, this piece of rib, and push this rib cage back towards the front. You will be able to see it why when you look at the bottom. So this sits in the boat like that. What did I say? You push it forward at last. But when you push it forward first, you see that would actually make you unable to do that. So that's why you have to pull it back, push out the rib, and push it back to the front, because in the bottom you have these. So these can only fold this way, not that way, because otherwise it would rip up the actual backbone of this whole bottom section. So as you can see, the backbone is also hooked up like this. It's easy enough. You just push together that piece of section of the backbone one at a time, unhinge it, and then push it that way, and these come out. But this is almost the last step. What you start with are these things. I'm hoping to find one which represents the one of the middle section bits. I believe this is it. So right in the middle of the boat, you're gonna have these ribs, and they are held together by these tiny little copper pipes. So looking at the middle of the boat, this is probably the first thing you have to get out. Easy enough. You just pull this copper skin back, okay, and you won't see much happening because the skin will hold this very much in position. But you can force it a little bit so that they come apart, and all then you have to do is just pull this out from the front and pull this out from the rear. Other way around, because the red is the rear and the black is the front. Anyway, so these are color coded, and at some point they change from black to red right in the middle. So I actually bought you two wrong pieces. So the red goes into the black, alright, and they are connected in the middle, where the black has a black color coding in one side, but on the other side there is no color coding. Just as much there's no color coding on this one, which is red at the other end. You see? Red, black. In the middle there's no color coding. So that's where it goes together. That's where you change from red to black. Okay? And as I said, the black goes to there. I'm gonna be a bit confused. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, so the black goes to the front, which is also numbered on the rib cages from 0 to 7. Okay? So black to the front, red to the rear, and then from these things, it actually straight away connects into this rib cage. You have one in the front and you have one in the back. There's one more thing. You got the round ribs, and up near the actual side of the boat, right up there, you're gonna have this squarey ribs. As you can see, this is more squarish. Right? So that's how you start to actually take the boat apart. You can take out the round ones first maybe, and then, as you can see, I'll come closer, this is how it's manufactured and this is how it goes together. Now it's easy to do it like this, but not too easy when it's in the boat. So again, you have two of these long bits merged together in the middle, and they end up in this, just like the round ones. And while the round ones are actually rather easy to take apart because you just pull that sleeve off, this is gonna be your most difficult part, because in the middle they just connect like this. Okay, that's all you see. And when you start taking the boat apart, you're gonna have to pull this inside the boat like that, and then you try to disconnect it. It does go with a bit of force, and I have to warn you, if your little folding boat was stored in a very dry condition, these might snap, which then you're gonna have a real hard time to replace them. But don't be scared, just be like reasonably careful and try to pull these in. It will bend. These bend quite very well, as you can see. They have a flexibility to them, but not too much. So you're gonna have to take all these ribs out, all the round ribs out, then you're dismantling. Then you have to start and pull out the rib cages by, as I explained, turning them opposite way as this L shape is. Okay, so the L shape goes down, that's how you turn them. But before you can do that, you have to turn them the other way around, because some of them have these little locks outside. Those are the front and the rear bits, those rib cages, which they have that little screw which lock them in place. The middle ones are like this. They have the screw attached to these upper bits. So these are the side of the boat, which you can see from outside. And again, I'll show you closer if I can. This kind of wing nut, you just have to loose it, and the other end is like that. So as you can see, you can turn this, you can put that together, turn it back, and then you can tighten the wing nut. So that's all it is to it. Then push the wing nut back, turn them, and the side comes off. Now the side wouldn't just fall off, you loosen it up like that, okay, and it will stay on the skin because they are machined that way. They have a groove inside, which is a large diameter inside and just a narrow one where it connects to the skin. Now this actually, I can't show you because the camera angle is not that good. I actually take this off for now, and I try to show you how they go on, if I can. So they are basically just slide into that bit and go on like that. Okay, there you have it. I'm not sure if it's the front section or the rear, I just pushed it on it. So anyway, that's how it holds it. So the first thing you're gonna take off are probably these. Then you start folding these rib cages out, which they are tricky. You see that L shape on the bottom, and you see the screw head space. Okay, so you take those out. Oh, sorry, that's the second step. So first step is this side. Second step, pulling out all the ribs, the round ones and the square ones, then turning these around and folding them out. And only last you can actually get this bit out, which I would call the backbone. It's very tempting to just unlock these and try to start and pull this up. It won't fold like that. But when you've done all that I just explained with the ribs and the rib cages and everything, then you can pull this up and it will actually pull out the rib cage from there with all the rest, and the rib cage from there with all the rest. I actually have removed the small rib cages before pulling it out like that, but I think no, you don't have to. So the last bit is so far inside the boat that you can't get to it, so you don't need to worry about the number 1. Okay, so number 0 is gonna be this bit. There it shows, it's number 0, and the first bit of rib cage is quite near here. You can see the screw, so you can't get that out while it's in the skin. So you just lift this up and it sort of pulls out the front and the rear rib cages with the last sort of cage bit. Okay, steering and the rest of the boat I think I will talk about when I put them together, but I think that's the most important thing. You need to know how to actually take this apart to a reasonable size, because otherwise you're not going to be able to transport it since it's more than 5 meters long. All I've done with the skin actually is that I just fold it into half. Back in the day it was probably sort of more flexible and you could fold it up properly and you know, get it to quite small. I wouldn't want to do that because, as you can see, it's a little bit brittle. I don't know what sort of material you'd have to use to treat this. I'm gonna use a convertible car cleaner on this bit, and probably a sort of weatherproofing material, but I'm not too sure yet because this feels quite different to a convertible top. So that's about it, guys. I'm very happy with my new boat. I don't know if it's 60, 70 or 40 years old, but I'll find it out later. Cheers.